So I would like to introduce another interesting speaker for today, where you could again get your business-related challenges addressed, how a business looks at IT. Mr. Rohan Verma, he's the director for MapMyIndia. Uh, Rohan leads the marketing efforts at MapMyIndia, focusing on building the brand by introducing innovative and disruptive products to Indian market. Rohan graduated from Stanford in 2007, obtaining a Bachelor's of Science in Electrical Engineering. Rohan conceptualized and created MapMyIndia.com in 2004 after completing his first year of college. While in the US, he interned with Intel and McKinsey. After graduation, Rohan decided to plunge into the Indian entrepreneurial arena with the conviction that MapMyIndia could help people in India benefit from the power of maps and location-based services. He would be throwing light on a few areas like what are maps, GIS, and GPS, and what they mean for businesses, business leaders, and IT departments, how leading and fast-growing Indian businesses are using maps, GIS, and GPS to make their business smarter, faster, and better. How can you deploy these technologies in your business and start benefiting? Impact of cloud-based web and mobile accessible IT solutions. Once again, thanks, Rohan Verma. Thank you.
Thank you very much for inviting me to talk. So we all come to these conferences with the idea that we'll learn something and take back to our business which will help us improve, grow. So my purpose probably in the next 10, 15, 20 minutes, followed by questions, is to give you a sense of how you can make your business smarter, faster, and better by using this niche of within IT of maps, GIS, and GPS. MapMyIndia was started by my parents 20 years back with a vision then, which most people call crazy, that digital maps can someday benefit everybody, individuals, businesses, and governments. And my father used to say that someday all data, or at least 80% of all data, will have a location element to it. And that can drive insight, intelligence, and action towards improving the way that we conduct ourselves in our individual lives, within our business capacities, or as governments. So that's a little bit my challenge today, to be able to communicate that to you, how you can leverage that, and then along the way give you examples of how we as a business, as well as how the thousands of companies that we worked with in India, or at least the 1,000 companies that we worked with in India in the last 20 years, have been able to think about improving their own business. So I realize that I probably have spent more time thinking about this, but it's probably a nice way to be able to give you a context of what are maps, GIS, and GPS in the context of business, because most of us will be familiar with maps in the context of consumers. We look at a map to find our way, to find a place, and we use a GPS to get voice-guided navigation to that destination. But beyond us as an individual, maps, GIS, and GPS can mean a lot for a business. So simply put, through maps, you can geographically visualize and understand your surroundings. Now, the map I'll show you next is not a map that you're used to typically seeing. It's an income distribution map. So it shows you a map of a city thematically mapped or highlighted based on localities, based on income distribution. How many households in an area have income which is greater than 10 lakhs? How many households in an area have income between 5 to 10 lakhs, and so on and so forth. When you see a map like this, it's instantly actionable. It's instantly understandable in terms of where you should focus your business on. And this kind of takes the idea of what we tend to do, business intelligence, in context of reports or Excels or tables or even charts for time series or pies for market shares. A map kind of helps you visualize your business in a very different context, this location context. So that's what I mean by map in context of a business. Then what is this GIS word? It stands for Geographic Information Systems. As a business or as a company, we have tons of data, and the kind of data that we can have helps us derive information from that, intelligence from that, and action from that. And to manage that information or data, we have information systems which are accessible via web, mobile, desktop, cloud, and applications are built on top of that. Now imagine a situation where the information that you have, such as the HR data that you have of where all your, who all your employees are, or accounts data that you have of who all are your customers, and you can start saying, where are they? Where are they now? You link that information to geography, to a latitude, longitude, or a coordinate. And suddenly you can start visualizing and analyzing and actionizing, if I can use that word, this information differently and more meaningfully. To give you a visual perspective of what that means, really the IT is a digitized version or a virtualized version of a real business running, and that's how we are becoming more efficient. Through GIS, Geographic Information Systems, you can take that real world and bridge that into the virtual digital IT world that you've created for your business. So at the bottom is how a map a consumer would see. It's the real world. You'll see roads, you'll see lakes, you'll see buildings, you'll see parks. And now on top of that, you can start layering information because they are geographically linked. So previously, if you had an HR database of employees, now imagine a situation where you can have where are my employees located. Previously, if you had a database of which are the distributors that I sell to, who are the distributors I sell to, now you can layer them on into customers way at the top. And now, based on seeing them on a map, you can understand, analyze where are the gaps and things like that. So that's what I mean by GIS, or Geographic Information Systems. Importantly also, because it's a system, it's storing information, allowing you to read, write, compute. You can create very interesting applications around this, leveraging the trends such as cloud, mobile, ubiquitous, pervasive, and that's what opens up this interesting world that I'll come to later. And finally, what this GPS. You must be seeing a lot of ads on TV today of car companies, even of MapMyIndia talking about GPS, which leads to navigation to a destination. But GPS can do so much more in context of a business. What does it stand for? It stands for Global Positioning System. And simply put, there are satellites surrounding the Earth, 32 satellites surrounding the Earth, which if a user has a GPS-equipped device, be it in his car, on his person, in a equipment that he's carrying, his exact position, speed, etc., can be calculated and communicated. Essentially, this leads to real-time positioning. So taking the example of where are my employees located further, actually people don't necessarily care about where their employees are located. But if it's a sales force, they care about where are my employees right now. Are they visiting the outlets or the customers they're supposed to visit? Knowing that information in real time is super powerful for a business. And that's what GPS combined with GIS, combined with maps, allows you to do. So let me start using some examples of how Indian companies are making their business smarter, faster, and better using maps, GIS, and GPS. And I'll use MapMyIndia's example also, so you'll understand how we are leveraging kind of the trends of IT, the technologies and platforms and capabilities of IT. We're integrating that with this really cool world of GIS or maps. So this is a bit of a complex slide, but I think I'll start with the first one. How do you make your business smarter? Probably by understanding and analyzing your market, by being able to plan, by understanding your network of sales force, stores, outlets, things like that, service network, and your competition. So a lot of people can use and benefit by this planning, becoming smarter using digital map data and GIS. And I'll focus on that as the first section. So going back to the example I showed at the beginning, this is kind of a map which if you're a greenfield operation, say you're a retail company, and in the past we've had companies such as Pizza Hut, We've had companies such as the mall companies, retailers typically, who want to say which market should we enter, which market should we focus our energy on this year, this quarter. And even within this market, because Delhi is a market, which micro market within that should we spend our money? We could theoretically put leaflets in newspapers that go across the city. But is that spend optimal? Is that going to be effective? Or should I only focus on households which meet my target segment? So for example, on top of this base map, we overlay demographic and income distribution data. This is data that's available already, which you can leverage to be able to come up with some kind of analysis such as this, which is basically the places which are dark red are the households. This is the household distribution of the various localities. So where are the households? Where are the population in a city? So if you really care, if you're supposing an FMCG company and you're really focused on the mass, you'd focus your business on this area because that's where everybody is. You wouldn't focus it on the gray area. But this looks slightly different. This is about affluence or income distribution. So supposing you are selling a class product, I'm just using this as an example, that only a household with annual income greater than 10 lakh can afford your product is your target segment. The map would look very different because you'd be able to overlay this information there. And using this, typically consumer durable companies, consumer electronics companies, or smartphone companies would do this analysis. This helps you in baselining what is the potential that's out there, even before you've started operations. Now let's start talking about overlaying your network, your coverage. Really, people market in urban or rural areas. So if you have a set of customers in the rural area, let's take a FMCG example of a Coke or a Pepsi. There are 6 lakh villages in India. Maybe they sell currently in about 200,000 villages, which covers, say, 60–70% of India's population. Now, what's their rollout action plan for the next 1 year? They can go out. So how do they know that? They know which villages they sell in currently. They can overlay that on top of all the villages that are out there. They can see where their competition is selling. They can overlay that information. And now suddenly the map looks different. They start seeing where is only, say, let's take the example of Coke, where is only Coke present versus where is only Pepsi present. Where the other example is where are both of them present, there's competition, and then where's the gap. And that starts telling them where should they expand their network the next time. So you can start seeing gaps in coverage as well as overlaps. In that same Coke example, 20 years ago when they re-entered India and they bought Thumbs Up, they had a lot of bottlers who had assigned territories in a legal contract. Now the new management that came in didn't understand what does that mean because it's legal word contracts. So they said, can you overlay this information on top of a map and start showing us where are the gaps in our coverage as well as where are the overlaps in our territory. You can do, even like 2 years back, a car company said, we get test drive inquiries at our dealerships. Now we have created dealerships to service certain catchment areas. Now if we are getting cross calls or cross sales, now this is suboptimal positioning or suboptimal kind of distribution. Those are the things that people are able to understand and then action in the next quarter plan. This is an example of a wholesaler who wants to do a catchment area analysis. Typically when you're doing a site selection, which site should I open up my outlet in or my wholesale or my mall in, you want to understand that within a 1 mile radius or a 5 mile radius or a 10 mile radius, what kind of population am I targeting? So that this kind of stuff helps you understand that. And you know, the modes of delivery of this has changed. Maybe 10 years back, people would like a printout on their wall. But today, people want to have this information available for all the users in the enterprise, the CIO, the CEO, or the headquarters, on a web platform, leveraging the cloud. Maybe sometimes they want it on the iPad as well, because you know the business owner may want to do this analysis when he's got some free time. So you can start doing this kind of analysis as well. I think we were the previous speaker was speaking nicely about how there are 1 lakh pin codes or so many pin codes in the country, planning the route, planning the delivery. So this is some example to do with that. Understanding market potential.
Can you hold on for a moment? It's getting smoky.
Yeah, something. So what we've done is we've created estimates. Actually, we've mapped every household, every building in the top 80 cities. So that gives us a very good sense of population. And now we use proxies such as real estate prices, maybe and things like that, types of cars to figure out the income distribution. No, it's not free. This is what the businesses, what they do is, you will have your data, but how do you benchmark that to market data? So when we do solutions for them, they ask us typically, like FMCG companies or handset companies will say, take my information and overlay it on demographics and base maps, and then let us do some kind of, I'll use that example. So, I mean, this is, I can use either this customer's example or another example. A handset manufacturer in India, one of India's largest leading handset manufacturers, was going through a dip 1.5 years ago. They had owned the market, they had beaten Nokia, and then suddenly their sales were plateauing. They had a new management who had come in, and the CEO said, look, for every month's sales meeting where my RMs come, I want to tell them something. I just don't want to hear excuses that our products are not going fine or things like that. So what he got done was, on top of this census and urban demographics information, that's the denominator, he started getting overlaid sales data, tertiary sales data of their phones, which we estimated through cellular activations of the phone once it was switched on. That's the numerator. So and we divided those two numbers to show what's kind of the penetration of sales in last month. And a simple map came out which was either red, yellow, and green in different territories, saying that, because he had said that to meet your target you have to do 60% penetration. I'm just using an arbitrary number. If you're 30% penetration, you're yellow. If you're less than that, you're red. And every month in the sales meeting, he gets a red, yellow, or green dashboard for all the states or districts across the country. And that's what he can simply tell the salesperson that, look, next time, if you're red, become yellow. If you're yellow, become green, or else it's the highway. So simple ways of running your business, but using the power of IT and GIS. One of the companies used this information to understand where was their competition vis-a-vis them. So they overlaid the market potential. Sure, they overlaid the market potential, and then they overlaid their outlets versus others. And then they started being able to figure out where should they be versus others. How do you monitor and manage your field assets in real time?
So before you go ahead, a very small question. Just a benchmark figure for the mobile phone example that you took. How much money would it take? A few hundred, few thousand, few lakhs, few millions?
For what?
For getting that kind of service done.
Oh, okay. I mean, so really we are looking at multiple modes of deployment with customers. So there are customers who want a full on-premise system where they want the entire servers, the network, and the data sitting there, and then they want applications developed. Or there are people who are looking at a cloud-based deployment. They want to do as a pay-as-you-go, software as a service model. So these models exist, and they're tailored to each kind of business in India. And really at MapMyIndia, what we're trying to do is make sure that not just large businesses, but SMEs also benefit from this power of GIS. The way we've taken maps to consumers and given it free, but then we ask them to pay for the device that they want to have in the car. Similarly, businesses at different levels of evolution will want different kinds of solutions. So I think I'm going to skip through these quickly, but to give you a sense how to make your solutions real time, I use the Salesforce example. Where is my mobile workforce right now, and where they've been going? These kinds of things can help businesses as well become faster, as well as say the BPO companies can ensure that there's a safe transportation of women employees by having GPS-equipped vehicles. And I think I'm going to end this on the better part. At the end of the day, we want to grow our business. So how do we increase our customer acquisition? How do we drive walk-ins to stores, drive customers to where we are? Very simple things, like tell customers where your outlets are. I think the previous speaker used that example that you can make great products, but if nobody knows about it, then what you're doing. So similarly, we distribute our products in 1,500 outlets across the country. But if nobody knows where MapMyIndia is sold, how will they go and walk in and inquire? So this is what people have been doing for the last 5-6 years, building store locators. But really, how do we go forward with that? Because the users are going mobile. And that's where actually this is even more actionable. So we're talking a lot about having store locators on mobile, through the mobile web or Android or iOS, and then leveraging these trends of social. So how do you not just help customers find your stores through these locators, but incentivize them or reward them to check into a store? If they visit the store and they check in, maybe they get a loyalty award. It could be as simple as a 100-rupee voucher, nothing. But the fact that you've gotten them into your store is half your job done in terms of customer acquisition. And then, of course, help people discover your outlets from where you sell your products by listing in location-based mapping and directory applications. So these are the different ways people can leverage location-based web and mobile applications to increase customer acquisition and store walk-ins. And really, at MapMyIndia, what we've been doing for the last 20 years, not just are we building business products, GIS and mapping and GPS products for ourselves, for our customers, we're leveraging whatever's best in IT, be it the cloud. We embrace the cloud deeply in the last 7-8 years to deliver the solutions in a very interesting way, leveraging mobile in a very interesting way, and leveraging social in a very interesting way to create solutions for businesses. So I hope this was insightful to you all, and look forward to questions offline.
I can take one question.
I think I'm loud enough. What is your intricate mapping of the rural areas of India?
Okay.
See, cities is one thing, towns is one thing, tier 3 is one thing. I'm talking about real rural areas.
What's the application that you're looking for?
You may be looking at, as one of the things which you skipped over is where I come from a charity, Helpage India. We have 75 mobile units.
Yeah.
Each one goes to 10 different sites or 15 different sites a week at certain times of the day for giving free treatment to senior citizens. They're in different parts. Some are in cities, some are in
Villages and
or in northeast,
Correct.
and, east, west, south.
yeah, first of all, what you guys do is fabulous. And second of all, in terms of mapping, just the database that we've built as a company, it covers all the 6 lakh towns and villages across the country on the map. So really, you can find any village in any state across India and reach there. What's the difference between villages and cities in our map is a village would be marked as a village, as a point, whereas a city would start going down to house address level. And maybe a tier 3 or tier 4 town, so one of the 5,000 towns that exist in our map would be that street level or landmark level. So the level of detail would vary.
That's what I'm getting at. That's exactly what I'm getting at.
But if the purpose is to be able to reach every village, and you're not alone in this. So many companies, so many organizations have spent their time in rural India, and really they want to know how do they reach the village. Maybe inside the village it's not so important because a village is nothing but a collection of a few clusters. It's one road, but reaching that village optimally and then making optimal routes so that you cover these villages in one go, being able to, if an emergency call comes, being able to dispatch the nearest available truck or vehicle, all of those things can be done using these kinds of maps, GIS, and GPS solutions. So the map is fairly detailed, and it doesn't stop at just the base map. It has these demographics and census information linked. So what you get to start off is not an empty canvas. You get this rich content already, and then you overlay your business information, operations, and expectations on top of this GIS to start running your business more effectively. Business or organization.
No, I'm just trying to compare it to what you have abroad. Okay, purely from a consumer point of view. If I was traveling in France and I'd never been there, and I had a GPS system, even using Google Maps or something, I could go to the smallest, tiniest hamlet.
Yeah, I mean,
and you know, find where it is.
yeah, absolutely right, and that's what
MapMyIndia will be able to do that today.
Yeah, you can. So first of all, our website is free. So you can go on MapMyIndia.com and search for exactly like Siwan, Bihar. You can search that and get there. You can get the same thing on your mobile phone for free if you have an Android phone, or you can access a mobile website. Now, if you want a GPS device in your car, you're going to have to pay for that, but it'll actually guide you exactly to that small village. Consumers are using it already in India for the last 5-7 years, and it's fairly detailed. It's businesses in the last 10, for the last 20 years, businesses have been using it, but really in the last 3-4 years, we've seen the kind of sophistication that businesses have started to employ these maps to make the business more effective, which is what's heartening to us and good for the IT community in general, because really they're becoming smarter, and hence their business is becoming better, and hence they'll be able to consume better solutions offered by the industry in time.
Demographics, you use our government demographics.
For the rural part, we link census demographics, but for the urban part, we actually have estimates for household and annual income, for income and household distribution every year, which the government doesn't supply.
Thank you, Rohan.